everybody, welcome one more time to the Five Faces family, because we are the Acevedos and we are five. So today I wanted to do a different kind of video. I am a babysitter, I work from home, and I have been doing this for a while, on and off. So I thought I would put a list together that will help moms, especially first-time moms, and not only because I'm a mom of three, but because I have experience with babies. Like I say, I have been babysitting actually for more than 10 years, on and off. My oldest son is 15 and my youngest is 2 right now. Please, don't get me wrong, I don't mean to sound like a know-it-all. I'm not an expert. Okay, so let's start with the basics and my tip number 1. So I have my little friend here. Her name is Sophie. No, not mine, it's my daughter's. But anyway, I thought I would show you because I don't have a newborn baby right with me right now. I wish, because I smell so good. But I know these are things that they show you in the hospital, but you know, sometimes you're, I don't know, sometimes you're distracted, I'm gonna say, and you know, when you get home you actually realize all these new things, again, especially for very first time moms. So this is the diaper. Okay, so you're just gonna open this. This is a little bigger, obviously, than the newborn diapers. This is a number 3 actually. So you're just gonna open this. Sticky part goes to the baby. Pick up the bottom really gently. Pick up the legs, and you're gonna put this right under the bottom. Then open the legs a little. Then this is gonna go in the middle, right? Then this is a thing that not everybody knows. You're gonna fold this because you don't want to cover the umbilical cord. That is really, really, really important. You're gonna fold this, then open the sticky part one side first. You can put the sticky part here. So you go down one side, then again gently. This is a doll, right? But gently, then pull it up a little. Pull it down, make sure you have the purple side, open it, and obviously at this point it's super easy because the newborn is not gonna move. It gets harder as they start moving little by little. But anyway, I just wanted to show you, again, I'm going to the basics. This is how you put a diaper on, and remember to fold the part so you let the umbilical cord breathe. Do not cover it. Actually, nowadays they're saying that you shouldn't even be using bodysuits while the umbilical cord is still there, but I'll get to that. So that is number 1. Let's go to number 2. Let's go with T number 2, and it's how to take care of the umbilical cord stump. I was gonna say umbilical cord. It's umbilical cord stump. And as you can see, I have another little friend here because the other one didn't have the belly button. So I just wanted to show you, for example, like I say, fold the diaper right under it and try to use little shirts that do not cover the umbilical cord. So you know how we are so used to putting the little body things that you can, you know, put it under, how they call it, the onesies. There you go. How we put the onesies. They recommend the umbilical stump is supposed to fall between 7 and 21 days. So for the first couple of weeks, not to use those, and use breathable clothes and things that don't cover that. So it will fall naturally, and it's definitely less risk of infection. Like I say, things changed 15 years ago. They will tell us to, like, with a little Q-Tex, clean it with alcohol around it so it doesn't get dirty and it doesn't get like little crusty things around it. I remember that with my son. Today they don't tell you that anymore, and actually had to do my little research, and let me tell you guys exactly what it says so I don't say anything wrong. So it says do not use alcohol to clean the stump. The American Academy of Pediatrics, AAP, used to recommend cleaning the base of the stump daily with a cotton swab dipped in rubbing alcohol. But researchers have found that untreated cords heal faster than alcohol swab cords and carry no more risk of infection. So basically, do not do it anymore. Keep it dry. That's why they tell you the first couple of weeks, do not bathe the baby. just do the sponge with water and little soap, and then you do it again. Number 3, and this is the best thing you're going to have in your home for your baby. Believe it. Invest either in a bouncer, a rocker, or a swing. I mean, if you can buy the 3 of them, hey, kudos to you. But at least have one of those. Especially if you're gonna have the baby sleeping in your room, you can get a little rocker so you can put it right next to your bed. We'll talk about the sleeping part in a little. And the vibrator shirts, the bouncers that vibrate, are awesome. And the swings, whew, I love them. So sometimes you can get the swing with vibrations, you know, all the same. They're a little more expensive, but it is totally worth it. And I would totally recommend the ones that connects, not the ones that take batteries, because the batteries run so fast. Like, believe it, that then you're gonna be buying a lot of batteries. So it's not worth it. And at the end of the day, when you're gonna save, not buying that outlet one, you're gonna spend in batteries. So I would totally recommend to buy the one with the AC adapter. And I would totally encourage you to look for gently used items. I mean, if you don't like that, if you can even think about doing that for your baby, I totally respect that. But if you don't mind, again, you know, sometimes you just take out the little covers. You can wash them, hot water, and they're as new. I'm gonna put a link below with my favorite items, the ones that I use for a long time, and they are great. One of those are Fisher Price rocker, right? They are not cheap, I'm gonna tell you that. They're new, they're over $50. Sometimes, you know, at night they tend to speed up or something, and the rocker is not flat, it's like kind of like that. So I really love it, especially my baby. She had kind of a reflex, I forgot the name of it, but she would speed up a lot. My 4-year-old, oh, it was a non-stop. So I was always scared at night, and once I bought this, definitely, and it helped her sleep too. But you know, anyway. I kind of mentioned this before. I went to like the number 4. I said I would totally recommend go with gently used items. So this is my tip number 4. Actually, when it how I say, okay, baby clothes, they grow up so fast, and I know as first time moms you want to buy everything new, but believe me, it's going to get expensive. I mean, if you got a baby shower, you get most of the things that you need. Hey, amen, right? I mean, thank God. But if you don't, I will totally tell you, go to thrift stores. In my case, I mean Goodwill, because it's a huge store. You're gonna find a little bit of everything, especially many baby items. When we're talking about clothes and baby furniture, I would totally recommend go really early. In my Goodwill video, I mentioned that they have a 50% sale. It's the whole year. It's every other Saturday. Check out the events page in Goodwill.com and check when is the sales in your city. I remember seeing one little blanket and it was like $10, and I mean, again, I get it as first time moms. Of course you want to buy new things for your baby, but like I say, these things you're gonna get a lot. You're going to need a lot of them. Like, you can have just 5 pair of clothes. You're gonna need more than that if you don't want to be washing every hour, right? So things like that you can definitely find there, and they have been used by babies. So let's go with tip number 5. And this is, I know this is gonna sound a little cray for many people, but again, just a tip. If you can, laundry. Babies use a lot of clothes. You know, they're gonna get dirty a lot, especially if it speeds up every 5 minutes. So I would say, even if you live in an apartment, if it's possible, invest in a washing machine. Again, I know this sounds like, woohoo, but even if it's a little one, then you don't even have to buy a dryer, just a washing machine. Because worst case scenario, you can hang it in your bathroom. We used to live in a 1-bedroom apartment in New York, so we were used to going to the laundromat, and if that is your case, Again, I would totally recommend to invest in a washing machine, even if it's a little one. Today they have many different ones, and little ones are not as expensive as 10 years ago. But of course, if you can, if you have a space in your apartment, and again, you don't even need a dryer, because worst case scenario, you can hang it. You're gonna have to wash clothes at least every other day with a new baby, at least. And this is, at least every other day with a baby, if you don't want to have a mountain like this of clothes. And you might think, how much can they, they get dirty, they're little tiny things. Believe me, they do. Poops, spit ups, drops, and yeah. Anyway, you get the idea. So if you can invest in a washing machine. And not only because it's a hassle to go out and do laundry every other day. I mean, if you live right next to a laundromat, I mean, that would be ideal, right? In my case, we didn't. But not only because of that, but because they are newborns. Many germs are in these laundromats. So you don't want to expose your baby to these germs. I mean, if you don't have to, right? Sometimes we have to do what we have to do. And like I say, I did it for a while until we could get a washing machine, and then I was washing clothes at home. And we just started with a little one, but it was much easier. I remember it was like the dining room and the living room together, and I had the clothing line from one side to the room to the other side of the room, and when I was washing the clothes, it was like the whole thing, because we didn't have that much space either. But anyway, again, you get the idea. So that is my tip. So let's go with tip number 6. Going with the laundry. Still, my tip number 6 is you do not need baby detergent to wash your baby's clothes. I know you might want to. They're kind of expensive though. You can only do it for so long. And probably only the first kid. Once the second one comes, more money. I done it. I wanted everything perfect from every brand. If not every single brand has a sensitive line. So believe me, I try it. It's really good. Pretty competitive with the baby detergent. It just doesn't smell as good. And one of the baby detergents is the Dref. And I tried that all. Baby detergent is not too expensive and it's really good too. Just use sensitive laundry detergent if you really want to do something different. Okay, so when it's time to sleep, this is a very sensitive, controversial, I'm gonna say, I just use both words. It's very sensitive topic and very controversial. Is the time when the baby has to go to sleep, because everybody says, or most of the people, I'm gonna say most of the people say, oh, you can't sleep with the baby because risk of this and risk of that. But you know what, moms, I get it. You're exhausted, the baby won't go to sleep, and the only way they go to sleep is with you right next to them. So what I'm gonna say in this case, if this is you, I'm going to give you some tips in how to, what's the name of it? How to do it safely, or as safely as possible. I'm gonna give you some tips on that. So this is a long one. I apologize if I talk too much, but I'm going to be as thorough as possible. I'm sorry if I'm saying that word wrong. As clear as possible. So I wish I can say A, B, C. Too long. I'm just gonna talk. So bear with me. First, if the baby is sleeping in the middle of you and your husband, if this is your case, okay, get one of those, not a regular pillow, those roll, to show you, these pillows. They're not that big. They are, you see their shape, they're gonna hold. Put this separating the baby from your husband. If you think you're not gonna roll, like in my case, I don't move much. Usually I stay in my spot. If you think that you are gonna move, towards the baby, put one on your side too. One. But put something like this. If you can and you think it might help. Worst case scenario, you buy it, you try it, if it doesn't work, you return it to the store. Go to Walmart, they're not gonna give you any problems, you just return it. A co-sleeper, I never try it, I'm gonna be honest with you, never try one of those, but I heard those things are really good too. Go try. If not, this is perfect. Why? Because I found out my husband would move a lot, so I found out that if I put a pillow like on his back or right next to him, when he moves, he goes to the pillow and he thinks the baby is there, so then he moves the other way. Does that make sense? I mean, again, it doesn't work for everybody, but this is a really good tip, and I give this tip to a few people and it actually worked for them. So this is why I'm giving you this little tip that, again, it worked for me. So if you think you might do the same, put it on your side too. This is not a big thing that's gonna roll over and it's gonna go on top of the baby or anything like that. But, you know, like I say, just my opinion. Okay, so let's go with the next one. It's usually square, right? You turn it like point and point. You fold this point. So this is the shape you're gonna have, more or less. You're gonna put the baby in the middle. In the middle, okay. Then you're gonna cover the baby. Ooh. Okay. Now you're gonna put then you fold it, right? You fold it just to see the size. Now you're gonna move this. You're gonna put the baby. Then you're gonna put this, fold it a little. You're gonna keep it like that. Make sure his or her hands are in there. And you're gonna cover this side, and you're gonna cover this side, and you have a burrito. And what this does is help them. They feel secure, they feel warm, they feel, I don't know, like you hugging them. I think that's what they say. I don't know, maybe. But anyway, this is and make it not like super tight, but you know, tight enough, not for any of these to cover their face or anything. Just tight enough so nothing comes out. You get the point. And this is gonna help them sleep, so they don't have anything again covering their faces. Believe me, do not underestimate the little ones. When you less know it, they turn. Okay, so if you have a space between your bed and your wall, and you usually put the baby there, or even if you don't put the baby there, but someday you might, put a pillow between the bed and the wall. If you even have a little space like that, because the baby can get stuck in that little space and it can be fatal. And again, I'm talking because I know what I'm talking about. A mistake like that can cost your baby's life. So if you put, okay, not a huge pillow, something maybe if it's not that big, something like this, and don't just leave it like that. Make sure you tuck it in the hole. If you have to move your bed a little so the pillow can fit, but then there is no space between the bed and the wall, perfect. If you think you can put a blanket and just tuck it in, my point is make sure there is no space at all between the bed and the wall, especially if your baby usually sleeps on that side. For many reasons, that is really dangerous, because if your baby happen to turn, he can actually get stuck on that little space and he won't be able to move. Okay, so again, this is a really important one, the space between the wall and the bed, which is sudden infant death syndrome. You see me looking to the sides because I have my notes right here. Again, I did my little research on it, because as much as I know about babies, I really don't know much about that, other than they die unfortunately while they're sleeping. So I'm gonna talk to you a little bit. I know you can Google it, but again, I'm just gonna give you the basics. I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the risks, like what is the common, by statistics. So it happens between the 2nd month and the 4th month. If there is a family history of it, it happens. It's very common in boys. Didn't know that. And if any siblings, I said family history, but family history says if any siblings or any cousins died of SIDS, and they are higher risk. If there's secondhand smoke involved, or if they are premature. So anything else? Yeah. So all of those are the higher risk babies for SIDS. I also wanted to tell you the precautions that they recommend. So we all know, no, let me rephrase that. Most of us know that you should put the baby on his or her back. So for the first few months, especially between newborn and 4 months, do not turn them in their belly. Put them on their backs. They also recommend not to put anything in the crib, that the crib mattress is really flat and not soft at all. Do not use any blankets, any teddy bears, anything. Try not to put anything, and I mean anything, around the baby, at least while they're this little. And if you think they're gonna be cold, just put them to sleep with their pajamas, long sleeves and little pants. So that way they're not cold. You don't have to put blankets on top of them, because then they're on their back. So if they put something on their heads, they're not there yet, they don't know how to take it out of their faces. They really recommend to use pacifier if your baby takes it. It makes sense because the babies, so they are breathing all the time, and they say to take it out once the baby drops it. What else I have? Oh, the rocker. That is actually a pretty one of the recommendations about the rockers, because the rockers are not flat. The rockers are like that if you don't have them in their cribs at the beginning, and that you have them in your room. Not to put them in a separate room, even if the baby has a separate room. Not to put them in the separate room, at least for the few months. Keep them in your room. So those are my recommendations, and those are the experts' recommendations. My recommendations is, if you really, like at the beginning, I was really scared, because sometimes babies sleep so soundly that you get really close, see if they're breathing, because you don't hear them, correct? So what I would say is put an alarm. If you think you're not gonna sleep at all because you're literally gonna be looking at the baby sleep, just put an alarm, and at least you can cut some sleep. Put it every hour if you have to. Anyway, at the beginning, you're only gonna sleep 2 hours at a time, because they're gonna wake up every couple of hours, correct? So if you have to, put an alarm every hour. That way, you keep checking on the baby. My other recommendation: take a CPR class, even if it's a basic one. Take a CPR class, because that literally can save someone's life. Anyway, that would be definitely a recommendation that I would give you. That would be to take a CPR. If I would have to give you one recommendation in this whole time that I've been talking so much, is take a CPR class, because that is really important. So let's go to the next one. Like I say, I would totally recommend the co-sleeper if he's sleeping in your bed. Breathable bumpers for the crib, if you absolutely need to put breathable bumpers around the crib, and that is usually when the baby starts turning, just in case their arm or the legs, they don't go in the little openings in the crib. So you definitely need a bumper, but not as necessary when they very tiny. But if you really want to, make sure it's a breathable bumper. No blankets, remember. If you think it's cold, just make sure you use the adequate clothing. To use a blanket, just be careful and make sure it's in the time while you're awake. Oh, a little thing on that. You know how they say, you have to sleep when the baby sleeps? Most of us don't do that. Why? Because when the baby sleeps, we actually want to do stuff. Am I right? I can. But at night, you might actually get some sleep. Probably not during the day because you're doing stuff, but at night, you should definitely get some sleep. But like I say, if you are worried, if you can actually sleep because you're thinking about the baby 24/7, put an alarm. If you feel like if you go to sleep, you're not gonna wake up because you're just a heavy sleeper, number one, you'll be surprised. Once you're a mom, you'll be surprised. Sometimes the baby don't even cry and you're already awake. You know, it's like your maternal instincts just are there. And if they're not, they will be. Don't worry about it. I'm not saying it's there for everybody, every single mom. You know, little by little, ladies. Little by little. Baby steps, literally. Baby steps. Again, put an alarm and then you'll wait, right? Perfect. Of course, you're going to find bumps on the road, like they say. I just hope every single one of my tips, or at least one of them, were useful to you, to new moms, to all moms, some moms, one mom. I don't know. I just thought this might help somebody. I forgot about the playpen, and sometimes moms want to buy a little mattress for the playpen to make it a little more comfortable, because many moms make the babies sleep in it, and that is totally good. Believe me, some of my babies sleep there. I have a couple of the playpens and they sleep there for a while, especially when they're little. But if you're planning on buying a little mattress, two things about that. Number one, make sure it's a breathable mattress. Actually, I'm gonna have a link below with I did again my little research, and I was reading reviews, so I'm gonna put one of the best I found, which and it's not like super expensive, and I'm gonna link it below. And number two, if it doesn't fit on your playpen, please do not try. Like, if you have at least a little space, no, buy something else. It doesn't work, because the same thing I told you before with the bed, that little space can be really dangerous for babies. I also found that sometimes you don't need a mattress. I mean, if you want to buy a mattress on top, because the playpen, I'm not gonna say bed, the playpen thing is like really hard, and I get that. There is some covers that are like cushy. There is like cushy, just like they have the cushy covers for the mattresses, like our regular mattresses. They have the cushy covers for the playpens too, and they're breathable. I'm also gonna try to find the link below, and I'm gonna put it right here in the description for you guys. So sometimes you don't actually need a blanket. It's like a sheet, and they say it's super comfortable. Never used one of those before, but I was reading the reviews and people say that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. If you are not, thank you so much for coming back. I mean, I talk so much, I don't know why you do it here. Just kidding. Thank you so much for coming back. Please give me a thumbs up, and if you had a bad day today, remember tomorrow is another one. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.